welcome the microbes in our life. Microbes or microorganisms, which you can see only under the microscope. What we associate these organisms with? We associate these organisms with illness, disease, we associate them with hospitalization, we associate them with death. What funny statement is this? But this concept, human microbiome, was first coined, this word. What is the meaning of human microbiome? I will explain to you in a simple language. The microorganisms which are around us, on us, and inside us is our microbiome, is my own microbiome, my relatives, my closest people I have. Now, this word itself was coined by a Nobel Prize winning scientist Joshua Littenberg in 2001. And this is still science in progress. So how are these microorganisms helpful to us? Are they our enemies? What do we do with them? How are they concerned? How are we concerned with them? How are we related to them? What do they do for us? Let's see. Now, estimated, it is very difficult for the scientists to pinpoint how many number of cells humans have in our body. So, like all of you must be knowing, I don't want to go deep into the biology part of it, but the cells make tissues, tissues make organs, organs make systems. How many cells do we have? We have about 30 to 40 trillion cells in our body. Now, 1 trillion is 1,000 billion, and 1 billion is 1,000 million. So you can imagine. But that's not all. Even if we have 30 to 40 trillion human cells in our body, we have 10 times more number of microorganisms on and inside our body, residing happily, like treating us like Airbnb, Yeah, we are their Airbnb. We provide them nutrients, we provide them food, we provide them refuge, and very comfortable environment. Okay, so now somebody may say, oh my gosh, I'm putting on weight because of the microbes in my body, It's not me eating food, it's them. No way, they just make 3% of our body mass because they're so tiny. If a bacteria, what are the microorganisms? They are bacteria, fungi, yeasts, viruses. Everybody must be knowing virus, COVID-19, right? So all these guys are very small. If bacteria is 10 times smaller than human cell, virus is 10 times smaller than bacteria. So they make very little mass in our body. But yeah, so now we estimate. Like there is a very famous American science writer, Siri Carpenter. What she writes in her one of the articles is that if the aliens have to scoop down and they have to dissect us, who are these Earthlings? Let us study. And if they dissect us, they will find more microbial cells and their genes than human genes. So what they will think, oh, it's an assembly, this organism is an assembly of microorganisms, mostly bacteria. Now what's this? Now we have about, according to Human Genome Syndrome, it was quite surprising then. The scientists thought, I'm not a scientist, but the scientists thought that there are millions of genes in our body. But when they came down to it, we have only 22,000 genes. A simple definition of a gene, human gene, which is there in almost every cell, in a nucleus, where our chromosomes are, where our DNA is packed. On the DNA, the genes are hanging. What these genes are? They are the blueprint. They have the technology, how to make proteins what we need. That's about all. They are not the brain. They have the technology. They are the techies. They're the techies of our world, our human body. So if we have 22,000 human genes in our body, according to the scientific estimate, we have about 8 million microbial genes in our body. Now what do these genes do? They produce proteins, not just the muscle and 7 or 8 abs and what all they say in the movies, not that. But we need hormones, then we have enzymes, then we have proteins that signal other proteins, other cells in immunology. Then we have receptor proteins, like if you know insulin, everybody must be knowing insulin. There is a receptors on each of our cells. And they invite insulin, and insulin invites glucose. Insulin is like a little mama which takes glucose into our cell. So all these receptors and alarming proteins that some enemy is coming, or the signaling chemicals, all are made up of hormones, are made up of proteins. So, okay, fine. So human genes make our proteins. What do the microbial genes do in our body? So many, 8 million. What do they do in our body? They also actually multiply, they make their own proteins, and they create colonies. But rest, they also produce certain substances which are interfering or modulating or directing our hormones, our proteins in some way. So we live together in health and disease, me and my microbes, we and our microbes, mostly bacteria. So here we have about, this is just 360 times more microbial protein-forming genes in our body. And somehow they contribute. How do they contribute? For example, our gut. Our gut has about more than 100 trillion microbes. They're still, yours, mine, all over, they're here. 100 trillion. And mostly bacteria. What they do? They produce protein, they are forever producing enzymes, forever producing hormones. What do? They digest certain foods for us which we cannot digest. Now, a person eating millets or jawar will have a different bacteria in his body than a person eating junk food. Okay? And you will not believe that what we cannot digest, when these bacteria digest with their enzymes, they produce substances which are helpful to us, which control our inflammation. I am talking about healthy microbes, when we have healthy gut microbiome. Not only that, they produce vitamins for us. Vitamin B12, vitamin K, which helps in healing. They also, they also train our immune system. I'm not going to touch the subject of immune cells because the time will not permit. But these bacteria train our immune system. What we have learned till now in science, that what our immune system does, it will only recognize self and non-self and attack the non-self, which the concept has now changed. Now, what will our immune system will do? It will not attack my own cells, but it will attack somebody invading my body. But that's not all. See, we don't need a strong immune system. We need an intelligent immune system. Immune system that has its own mind. Then only it will thrive. Mind over matter. Even mind matters as far as immune system is concerned. How? I will explain to you in very simple language. The immune system must realize that whatever bug is coming inside or on my skin is my friend or my foe. Is it harmful or useful? That intelligence the immune system has to develop. How it will develop? Due to our microbes. They train the immune system. Not only that, our gut microbes also produce neurobiochemicals which are there in our brain, which control our emotion, which control our thought process, which control our intelligence, which control our aggression, rage, and also stress. They control. They produce 90% of neurobiochemicals sitting in the gut, and which is transferred to the brain by the nerves. So they do a lot of functions. So they are not our foes. They are our friends. Without them, we will not live. I will say this in one simple sentence. We are because they are. Now, how do we get our microbiome? How do we get our microbiome? The first, we are living in a sterile environment in mother's womb. So when there is a natural delivery, I'm not talking about cesarean. The importance of natural delivery is now coming to the forefront. During the delivery, the baby inherits some of mother's microbiome, some of mother's bacteria, viruses, yeasts. And also while breastfeeding, the milk itself has immunoglobulins, which now in colloquial terms we call them antibodies. All of us must have heard this term antibodies, right, during COVID times. So this is inherited. What we inherited, this is our real estate, what we inherit during birth, not just mother's love, but also her microbiome. Then afterwards, the baby starts crawling, starts touching surfaces, and we are so scared nowadays. Oh my gosh, I need to clean the surface. I need to kill all the bacteria from the surface. The baby will, sucking her thumb, and I have to clean her thumb. And I have also been a mother and also been through this process, but that's wrong. Because if you are going to keep the baby in complete sterile environment, you are not allowing its immunity to exercise or get trained. Therefore, when the immunity is not trained, immunity must be kept active. It must be always encountering some kind of threat. If not, it will get bored. Oh my gosh, what do I do with so much strength I have? Immune cells will say. What do we do? We don't have nothing to do. We can't fight with anybody. So what do? They start attacking harmless substances, sterile substances, the very chemicals the mother is trying to clean the surface. So what kind of diseases are coming now due to too much of, this is called hygiene hypothesis. What kind of diseases are coming to the forefront now? Asthma, allergy, eczema. This kind of diseases are extremely common now in children because we are trying to keep them in a sterile bulk. Thoda sa, little bit of microbes must be welcomed in our life. Yeah? Now, are they, all this time we thought that, oh God, my gosh, bacteria means disease, they are bad people, they're bad guys, germs, no way. And in advertisements are bombarded at us. But are they all bad guys? No. Some are symbionts. Symbiosis, of course, you must know this word, symbionts. They live with us. They we provide them nutrients and provide them house, and they provide us with immune protection. We will see how, a small slide later. Then there are pathobionts, like people only, pathobionts. They just wait and wait and wait on and in us, waiting for an opportunity to strike us when our immunity goes down. When will our immunity go down? If we have sedentary lifestyle, we have very stressful lifestyle, when we age, or we have HIV, or we are on immunocompromised drugs, or we are a patient of transplant, or we have some other viral illnesses, then our immunity goes down, and these pathobionts, waiting for the opportunity, they strike. They're just like people. Some people just wait for an opportunity. When this person is weak, I will take advantage. Same is with pathobionts. And there are commensals. Commensals we don't know. Scientists have not yet exactly found. Are they just bystanders? or they're harmful, they're harmless, or they help us, but they're just there. Sometimes they also become pathobionts, okay? And some organisms which are good to us, which are our friends, which are symbionts, if we give an opportunity, if they get an opportunity to enter our bloodstream, they can cause serious diseases. Now, I'll tell you about, I'm going to talk about a little bit about skin, because all the young students can know. See, there is a guy called, a bad guy, a bacteria called Staphylococcus aureus. This guy can cause several diseases in our body. If it gains entry, it first can cause pus-filled boils, or if it is entered a little bit under the skin, it can cause some other cellulitis, which I have not written here. Then if it can spread into our bloodstream, go to the organs and cause sepsis, which is life-threatening. Then it can cause meningitis. In children, it is very common, can cause food poisoning, urinary tract infections. Septicemia means bacteria in the blood. We can go into coma and death. And there are methicillin-resistant staph infections, now hospital-acquired. When we are admitted into hospital and where our immunity is weak, this guy will attack us. And believe me, just now, if you go to a microbiology lab and do your skin, you will find abundance of Staphylococcus aureus on your skin, yours and mine. So we are covered with pathobionts. What is that protect us from pathobionts? Finished. Okay, last. So there are other friendly bacteria, like same species, Staphylococcus epidermidis, which will bombard this particular bacteria with antibiotics produced by the bacteria and kill it. So, and also there are bacteria which live on our sebum, the sweat gland, and produce propionic acid, keeping the skin acidic and killing the pathobionts then and there. Therefore, do not wash your skin with too many antibacterial soaps and do not be so concerned. Just live naturally and happily. Thank you.